Bum 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 bum. Hey, Star Wars fans and YouTubers. So it's your old friend Dominic Shangali here with issue 16 of my Star Wars Build the Millennium Falcon model kit. Like always, after the first issue, every issue, €10.99, brings us up to, I do believe my math is correct, €168.35. Okay, so far in our process, and let's just dive right into it. Oh man, that's a really pretty blue, actually. I like that. I think that's what I'm going to start doing. We'll start commenting on the colors more. You know, this issue, last issue was orange, and this one is this nice navy blue. I guess you'd call that more ultramarine blue. Yeah. Anyway, so we go right into talking about the YT-1760. A small transport, obviously one of the last ships in the Corellian Corporation's offerings of starships. Very small ship. Let's see, it was, well, I guess lengthwise it was 26.5 meters. That's pretty big. Maximum passenger. So it was actually, you know, it was slightly smaller than the Millennium Falcon. If you look at these figures. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, 10 tons. I mean, it was a small transport. It was not a dedicated freight transport for sure with that small of a cargo load. So I guess also it's important is that this ship is part of the expanded universe, and I guess it made its first appearance in Star Wars Gamer magazine. I actually played the Star Wars role-playing game, the D20. Wasn't in love with it. Loved the D6 game much more. I'm a bit of a nerd if you guys don't know. Used to play a lot of D&D when I was a kid. I guess I don't play D&D currently, but I wouldn't be against the idea. So anyway, so this was a monthly magazine that used to come out for all things Star Wars Gamer in video games and role-playing games and whatnot. So this was, what was this issue? What number issue was this? Issue 2, second issue. So it's a pirate and smuggler ship, you know, very, very popular pirates and smugglers. And then we jump into this article about the ice fields of Hoth. My personal favorite vehicle that wasn't a starship in the Star Wars universe, of course, was the AT-AT. This bear-looking guy here. I believe I read some fiction where it was saying that like a number of these were actually lost. They in the Battle of Hoth, they cracked right through the ice and fell. So if they had actually been able to bear their full complement of AT-ATs against the rebels, then it would have probably turned the tide of battle slightly different, and maybe it would have not been nearly as successful of a retreat. I mean, obviously the Galactic Empire, you know, put the brakes to the Rebel Alliance, but they were able to get most of their resources out of Hoth using that ion laser. So yeah, then they talk about the cold weather gear that the rebels wear, stuff like that, explaining away the scar on Hamill's face. I guess he got in a car accident in his Porsche between the filming of episode 4 and episode 5. And snow speeders, how they had actually been T-47s that were retrofitted for the cold weather environments. And then we have this cool overview floor plan of the Falcon. We've seen something like this before, but this shows more along the lines of what a YT-1300 floor plan looks like and how the Falcon was laid out. And of course then this was the coolest part of this issue, was this show of how he modified, when I say he, I mean Han Solo and the other owners of the Millennium Falcon, previous owners, how they modified the ship. So anything that's like this lighter white color was actually a modification. So this was obviously a hyperdrive modification. This is a very strange feature for a YT1300, there's a secondary ring corridor, leading out here, boarding ramp, air dock. So if it could lock up with a space station, gaming station, technical station, the dorsal quad lasers, and then concussion missiles. You got to have concussion missiles if you're a YT1300, I guess. And augmented life support system, all types of good stuff. Very cool article showing how the Millennium Falcon is butch. It's got a number of really awesome modifications to it as far as how a YT1300 goes. Alright, and then this green section, your next parts, your components, what to do with them. So we got bag number 16. So let's go ahead and take that open Let's open this up and then see what's inside. Alright, so biggest piece to smallest piece, we have this whole piece here that matches up a reversal of a piece we had gotten, very similar to a piece we had gotten earlier in a previous issue. Some supporting framing structure. Put these to the side because we won't need these for a few issues. This is what we're going to be using today. We're going to be putting this together. Obviously some screws, we can put those with the parts we're not using today. And this guy from the last issue, this is what we're working with today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and see what the first step is. Okay, so we got 3 of these rings in that plastic bag, 18 pads that go with each ring. So you've seen me do this before, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut these all out and show you what all 3 of them look like when they're all assembled. You've seen me do this twice before with the main hold, so shouldn't really be too much of a surprise. Alright, that took a little bit, but I got all 3 of them fully assembled, and they look exactly how you would expect them to look. They're identical to the ones that you found inside the main hold, except for they have this tab up top. So we'll find out what's up with that, I assume, later on. The next step is to take these 2 pieces right here, and I'm going to actually start screwing the floor to this tube, this sleeve piece, using these screws right here, which are like the 4mm brass ones. Alright, so I'll go ahead and screw those together and show you what the product should look like after that step's finished. So, as you would expect it to look like, I got 6 screws in, and now that floor piece is fit to this right here. Pretty standard step, really. Okay, so next step is to take these ring pieces and stick them in these spots right here. We have these 6 holes, so we're going to put each ring on those 3 marked spots right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that and show you what that looks like when I've completed that step. Alright. So, after putting those 3 rings in, it looks like this. They're very loosely sitting in there, so I can't be pressing on them too hard, but that's what it looks like. And actually, I was wrong about this framing piece. I'll be putting that on today to my existing frame, so I'll go ahead and pull that out and show you what the frame will look like once I attach it. Great. So now I have 10 pieces of bottom frame, all linked together with these 3 supporting ribs and their strut, or as I call them, struts. And so now I'm going to go ahead and try loosely placing the hole plating and show you what it looks like now. So just loosely laying on there, nothing's been fixed. You can just see how the framing kind of lays together like this puzzle and all comes together. I'm really hoping it's not going to be much longer before we actually screw all this into a frame, because I really would like to have this stored a little bit better than how it's doing. I'm kind of scared now that it's going to get warped or dented and bent. So I don't know if there's any advice out there anyone can give me on how to kind of float this a little bit so it doesn't get damaged. I'd like to know. So that's everything for issue 16. So let's take a quick look at what we can find in issue 17. Alright? No big surprise here. Next issue we're going to be getting another frame piece, another hole piece for the lower hole, and a number of pieces to help us complete this corridor. So that'll look nice, that ring corridor. So question for the day, what is your favorite non-Starship vehicle? Mine, as I said earlier, was the AT-AT, but I want to hear what yours is. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit that like button, and if you feel free to subscribe and share the video with your friends, because I would really love them to enjoy the channel as well.